G-Rai has worked with PARTYNEXTDOOR for most of his career, but what is it that makes Party love his production? Let's start by listening to Peace of Mind from the Colors 2 EP.
All I wanna do is lay up with you all day.
I'm going to show you exactly how to achieve the sound. First, let's add some chords. The progression is very simple, it's more so the sound selection that's so important in making these types of beats. They love using smooth pads with minimal high end, and also you can add low octave bass notes to make the pad feel bigger. Next, I'm going to show you guys how to add lots of texture to your beats without overcrowding them. The first step is to add some melodic accents, ambient sounds that add ear candy to the track. You can make these yourself or add pre-made ones like the ones in my Synth Diaries kit. Next, add a perk loop, but don't filter it out. That's going to come later. And finally, add some vocals. I added an altar boy and a spring reverb to give it a metallic sound.
When you smile, feel your vibe, gets me good. Baby, what's your type? What do you like me like that?
After that, mute the main chords and arm the master channel to record. From there, press Alt-R and hit start. This is going to bounce all the elements into one audio stem. Then you need to open it in Edison, lower the sample rate, which is going to cut all the high end out, and you've got your own texture loop. G-Rai collaborated with OZ on Peace of Mind, so let's see how they did the drums. First is a hard punchy snare. After that are some simple yet effective hi-hats. And finally, the kick and 808. Usually in these beats, producers like to use synth basses, but OZ and G-Rai used a quite distorted 808. Another thing you should note is the choice of kick. G-Rai likes to use kicks with high end to help them sit perfectly on top of the 808. To finish it all off, we have a piano copying the same chords as the pad. G-Rai used the piano on Freakin' You from the same EP, Colors 2. Another track G-Rai produced is Calling My Phone by Lil Tjay and Black. Of course, the main element is a piano with some melodic yet emotional chords, so I replicated that with this free contact piano from Piano Book. One tip for making a progression like this is to go down the scale. This creates a sadder, more emotional feeling. To process it, I added a heavy compressor to bring the pedal noises up. This brings so much more texture. For the next two elements, I want to take inspiration from another G-Rai produced track, Toxic by Kehlani.
Damn right we take turns being wrong.
As you can hear, there are these pitch bending pluck sounds that are so unique, but how do we replicate this? First, you need the right sound, so I grabbed this pluck one shot from Synth Diaries. It already has a slight pitch bend to it. However, if your sound doesn't have this, there are some ways you can do it. If it's a one shot, you can turn the portamento up like this, and if it's in a VST, try and find the glide knob or the portamento knob, turn that up a little bit, and that should give you the same sound. Next, click in a simple melody. I then added the FL delay to it with the pitch knob turned up. After that, I processed it with the springs to wash it out a bit. And finally, I added a portal and an EQ. Now there's one final step to making this sound perfect. Go to the pitch range knob and set it to 12, create an automation clip for it, and then experiment and create a pattern that you think sounds best. The other element I took from Toxic is this distorted lead. The distortion is automated to build up and then drop back out again. Not only does it add texture, but it adds rhythm to the sample. To finish it all off, we have some vocals, again inspired by Calling My Phone. It only has a high pass EQ on it because, like TJ's song, we want the vocals to stand out. However, for the second vocal section, I took some small chops, filtered them out, sped them up, and it sounds like this. For the drums, G-Ra used a clap that had a lot of punch, so for our beat, I layered a clap and a snare. Next are some spaced out hi-hats. Because they're very spaced out, you need to use rolls to add bounce. And finally, we have a synth bass and a kick.